Let's not mince words here. Spelunky is a hard game. When you first start playing, you should go into the game expecting to die and die and die and die some more. But the great thing about Spelunky is that the more you die, the more you learn. You learn how to deal with arrow traps, tiki statues, giant spiders, monkeys, frogs, spiders, snakes, and you get the overall gist. But what if you're impatient? What if you don't want to learn by getting your ass kicked repeatedly? What if you want to not suck at Spelunky right now? Well, it's impossible. But here are some tips to suck less at Spelunky. This video will specifically cover the mines. Tip number 1. Slow the down. I know it's something that we as gamers have had beaten into us since the days of Super Mario Bros. When there's a run button in a 2D platformer, you hold onto it like it's glued to your thumb. But if you constantly hold down the run button in Spelunky, especially if you're not used to all of the game's traps, it'll be a miracle if you make it out of the mines. So slow down, take in your surroundings, dart your eyes around the area to keep an eye out for spiders up above, arrow traps to the left, right, and below, and make sure that you always look below before you drop down into a gap where you can't see the bottom. You can crouch walk off an edge to grab on, and then hold down to scout the floor below. Tip number 2. What to do about arrow traps. Arrow traps will be the bane of the new Spelunky player's existence. Thankfully, once you get past the mines, you don't have to worry about them until the temple. When you see an arrow trap, the first thing you want to do is look around the area for something that you can trigger it with. A rock, a dead enemy, a mouse, a broken arrow, a pot, anything will suffice. If you absolutely can't find anything, then use either a bomb or a rope to set it off. If you're feeling brave, you can try to drop down and use your whip to swat the arrow before it hits you. This should be a last resort though. Also note that if you see a broken arrow near an arrow trap, it's likely that an enemy had already triggered it, making it safe to drop past. Tip number 3. What to do about giant spiders. Every now and then you'll come across giant spiders in the mines. This is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing if you have bombs, and a curse if you don't. If you have bombs, simply throw one into the spider webs below a giant spider and watch it rain paste and gems. Collect the paste to get sticky bombs and move on your way. If you don't have bombs, you'll want to avoid these guys altogether. Fortunately, like regular spiders, they will only come down if you attack them first, or you move directly underneath them. Tip number 4. Don't break pots with your whip, and don't run into skeleton bones. Sure, the actual chance that a spider or a snake will be in a pot is relatively low, but your hearts are so valuable in Spelunky, it's just not worth the risk. Always throw pots far away from you whenever you can, and for the love of God, don't just run into skeleton bones. Always jump on them so that even if they do come alive, you'll kill them as soon as they do, and feel like a badass because you're too smart for their tricks. Tip number 5. Don't steal the gold statue unless you're sure not to disturb a shop. It's always tempting to steal the gold statue in the mines for some easy gold, but it's simply not worth it if it means having an angry old man with a shotgun hovering over the exit for the rest of the game. Always make sure that there's no shop nearby or underneath you so the boulder doesn't crash through and make him all pissy. Tip number 6. The snake pit. When you see the message, "Snakes, I hate snakes," appear, it means that you've entered a snake pit level. Look for the snake pit and work your way down to the bottom. Bomb the very bottom and you'll always find a pickaxe. Pickaxes are extremely useful as an alternate means to get through walls without having to waste bombs, and also as a way to get rich quick, especially if you have the UDJAT eye. Speaking of the eye, tip number 7, the UDJAT eye. In one of the levels of the mines, you'll likely come across either a key or a chest. When you do, make it a priority to scour the level to find the corresponding chest or key. Once you bring the two together, you'll get the UDJAT eye, which will let you spot where the hidden gems are, and more importantly, it'll be your key to finding the black market once you get into the jungle. Tip number 8, keep your priorities straight. Personally, I find bombs and ropes to be more valuable than damsels, so if it takes more than a single bomb or a single rope to get to a damsel, chances are I'm gonna leave her. Because damsels can be found in every level, while bombs and ropes are much rarer and can be the difference between taking a path that you can likely get through unscathed, and taking a path that's more akin to walking barefoot down a hallway with shattered glass. Tip number 9, dark levels. Dark levels are the worst. Thankfully, you start each one with a torch. This is your best friend. Your best friend that you throw into the face of danger to let you know if the coast is clear, but your best friend nonetheless. Always throw the torch in the direction that you're going before you go there, and keep an eye out for what it illuminates. Fortunately, arrow traps can be seen in the dark, so that's not as much of a pain in the ass as it could be. Don't dawdle in a dark level, work your way to the bottom as slowly and carefully as you can, find the exit, and leave. If you can get a damsel, great, but don't go out of your way. It's tough to balance a damsel and a torch at the same time. Tip number 10. Spikes. The big thing about spikes is that you can walk through them. Once you know this, you'll often be able to find ways around spikes and make them more of a threat to enemies than they are to you. Just, once again, always make sure to look down before dropping. Though the levels are seemingly randomly generated, you'll often find yourself in positions where if you drop, you'll get impaled by a spike. And that's all I got for you in the mines. Hopefully these tips will help newcomers suck at least a little bit less at Spelunky. Thanks for watching, let me know if you found this video at all to be helpful, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.